What's up guys, and welcome back. In today's video I'm going to show you everything you need to know about the FlutterFlow drag and drop widget. Now this widget allows you to do a lot of things in your application. You can allow users to drag elements from one location to another. So we are going to be looking at all of that in a couple of seconds. Before we get right into it, if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button below. It really helps me and motivates me to make these videos. Thank you very much, and let's go. So let me show you what we are going to build by the end of this video. We'll be able to build something like this, a to-do management app or a list of task management app or whatsoever, that you can drag items from to-do to things that you are doing and so on and so forth. So let's say we want to clean the house. We're supposed to clean the house and now we are cleaning it. We can move this item from here and they will drop it here, and it's going to be added to these things of the list of things that we are doing, like cleaning the house, and then it will no longer be under to do. And the same thing, we can say we had plans to eat, or we are eating, or let's say we have not eaten, or we started eating and then somehow stopped. I don't know how that's possible. Yeah, we can bring it back to do, and it's going to be here. We've not slept, so we can bring it back here, and it's going to be under this other to do list of to do. You understand? So that's just briefly what we are going to be doing, and yeah, let's get into it. So for this demonstration, we have this interface that I've made. It's just like a simple Trello board, you know, like how all these task management platforms are, where you can drag things from to do to what you are doing and to when it has been done. So this is just like a simple UI. As you can see here, this is a widget tree here. There's no like a lot of actions going there. These are just like dummy things I made, like placeholder widgets. So real quick, we are going to demonstrate, and you see how we'll be able to have like a list of to-dos under this particular column, and when we move items to doing, it's going to change the item states to doing, and just so and so on and so forth. So this is just like a brief demonstration of how you can use this widget. So we're going to be covering that in a couple of seconds. So first off, what I want to do is I want to make it very simple and make it available on this page, but you might be pulling data from your database or Firebase or whatsoever. So for this demonstration, I'm just going to come here and create a local page state, right? And I'm going to call the page state, say to do, like things that I'm supposed to do, and let that be list of string, right? We want to keep it very simple so that we'll see how it can be done. Let's just add item like, let's say, clean the house. The next, I'm going to add another list of items, like a list of string, and this time I'm going to call it doing, like the list of things I'm doing. So doing, I think it would have been better if I call it to do's with S, doings with S. Make YouTube video. Again, this is just like a simple demonstration. And the last one, I'm going to say done. It's a type of string and it's a list of string. So what have I done? Nothing. Let's keep that simple for now. So right here we have the list of things to do and the list of things that we are currently doing. Now here on this list view, if you see on this to do column, I have this list view that just shows a container of placeholder items. Now if we generate dynamic children from this list view, again I want to build a UI with you so that you see how you can implement this in your own application. If we generate children within list view, say come here and I say a list of to do items, let's call it that, and I want to generate it from this page state called to do confirm, and I save. We are going to have those children generated, right? We are going to have that. Now this is just a list of to-dos that are going to be shown here, and inside these containers I'm going to add just the to-do, like a text showing the to-do, a text, and I want that to be the to-do item, right? Confirm. Now if I run this, I should see that one item in our to-do list displaying. Again, I just want to build this foundation so that we understand something. Let me add another item here, like read a book. So if we run this on a test mode, we should be able to see those two items listed. So as you can see here, we have these two items, clean the house and read a book. So I want to be able to drag this item and bring under like these next steps of our to-dos and let them be under that particular step. So the way we are going to do that is using the drag and drop widget. So real quick, let's do the same thing. Let me build the UI for doing so that you see like how we have to do that. Let me remove this list view under doing. I'm going to bring this back. I'm just going to cut with Control X, right? So to use this thing, the draggable widget, there are two types of the widget, like the one that is being dragged and the one that is receiving the element that is being dragged into. So if we search for draggable, we have the draggable and the drag target. The draggable is the item that you are moving around, while the drag target is the item that receives the whatsoever thing that you are dragging. So we can drag this item from here to where we want to put it. Where we are putting it is the drag target. So if we need to put like an item that will be draggable, we add the draggable this thing, the draggable widget, and inside the widget we can give it a child. Let's say the child in this our case is supposed to be a text, right? And that's a text element. Now each draggable widget gives you a particular value, so you can specify this value dynamically or you can specify it manually. Now you have ability to set the data type first, right? So you can also set the data type of that draggable element. Is it a string? Is it an image? What kind of elements are you dragging around? Now the beautiful thing here is it can also be like a document, like a whole document or even a JSON part. So you can like have that object move into another location and then you do something or you compute with that. But in our case, it's simply going to be a string, right? Okay, let me undo this. Now let's view the widget. Now we already have our list view here. Let's just make it to be populated automatically. This is our list view and I'm going to generate children and I say this is doing items, for example, and it's going to be pulling from our page state doings, like a list of things that we are doing, and I'm going to save. Now remember, our doings, our list just has but a list of strings. It's not like a particular list of data type or list of something. So to actually do that, inside this our container that we have styled like this with this background, we can add the draggable widget, right? Inside the draggable widget, we add the text. Therefore, our text for that to-do item that is going to be displayed, and let's specify the value to be the doings items, and I'm going to confirm. Let's just make this so that it sits in the center. Now this gives us a means. Then back on the draggable item, what I'm going to do is I'm going to specify the type as string, and the value of that item should still be this my doing items, right? We are setting this dynamically. Should be this my doing items that we are setting from the generated children that we have. So this is going to let us be able to drag all of the elements or the items that are being listed under that doings. Now we can do the same too for this, but what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to cut this text, right, at a draggable item so that we also have that for under to do. Again, I'm on that to do section. I'm going to add a draggable and I paste back this child text element that I copied earlier, and on my draggable I want it to be able to get the value as the to do items. We refresh this, we should be able to see our app having the list of to do and doing, and we'll be able to drag those items. That's for the dragging. Let me refresh that. And as you can see, we have this list of items, and if we click here, we should be able to move this text around, right? Should be able to move this make YouTube video around. But now there is nowhere that we can drop it to actually perform an action. So let's go into this. Now, you know, like normally on our something like Trello or these task management applications, they have a section that you can just drag and populate directly on top. But for us, we are going to try to trick that. So let me do a simple implementation of how we can drag to do items onto doing, right? So here on this text, on this container, sorry, this is our container. I'm just going to add another container below, right? Let me duplicate this, then I remove this list view, and let me give it a height of about 70 and a width of infinity. Let me move the container below, and I want this container to act as a section that will be able to drag items into. I want this container to act like a section that will be able to drag items into. So let me just give it this color so that for visibility's sake, again, in your design you can play with this anyhow. I just want it to be visible enough for us to be able to notify and identify where we are dragging the items to. Okay, this is good. Now what we want to do is inside this container we want to add the drag target widget, because we are dragging from somewhere, that's a draggable, and we want it to be somewhere inside the drag target. So I'm going to search again for drag, target. As you can see, that's the element. Now, as compared to the draggable element, this drag target comes with a list of action triggers. So let's click on the draggable, and if you come here, there are no new actions. Like you see, just on tap, on double tap, on long press, for example. There's no new action trigger. But on this drag target widget has a couple of action triggers, like on drag accept. On drag accept means if you have dragged an element into that target and released it, therefore the drag target has accepted the element that you brought into, the list of actions is going to be executed. On drag enter, if an element that you are dragging just enters that drag target, the list of actions are going to be triggered. On drag exit, if an element enters and then it's not like released and it leaves, the list of actions are going to be triggered here. So this is our drag target. Yeah, what we have to do is we have to add a child element into it. Now I don't know why FlutterFlow made this to be like a requirement. Maybe for some reason it is, but for us we are just going to add a container because we don't have anything to do much there. We're just going to add a container. Let's give it this alternate, and our height was 70, so let's just give it like that. Just make it to stay the same. And what we want to do here is when an element is being dragged into this dragged target, what do we want to do? Our to do just functions using a to list, a list of things to be done, a list of things that you are doing, sorry, three lists, a list of things to be done, a list of things that you are doing, and a list of things that you have already done. So we want that when an element comes and is being released into this drag target, let's just add that element into our list of things that we are doing. We can identify very well that is the drag target under the doings list of things, right? So this drag target, let's come here to these actions and we'll open the action. And on drag accept, we want to tie an action here. If drag is being accepted, we want to update the state, like the page state for doings. So let's say doings, and we want to add element into that list, right? We want to add the item that we just brought in into that list. What element do we want to add? We have this drag target data, and that is cool because here on our draggable, we specify the data, like the value of this particular dragging thing, to be our doings items. I don't know if that makes sense. But anyways, that's just how drag and drop works here with this particular widget. Now let's refresh our page and you see. So this is our interface. We are hoping like if we drag an item from here into this gray area, the item should be added to this list of doing. So let's do that. Clean the house. Let's bring it here. And you see, automatically adds to this list. Read a book. Let's add here. Automatically adds. Now, if we keep doing this, it's just going to keep adding the same item. What we may want to do is, after it has added, let's remove the item from that to-do list of things. Again, this is just like a simple demonstration. This can work in so many ways. Like you can update a state. If you have like an object, like a to-do object that has name, description, date, is done, whether it's done or not, you can just update the state of that to do like, hey, this is done. There are so many ways I can play around with this. So I'm going to go real quick and then add this another action under, add this other action under that removes that particular item from the list of to do. So let's open that and add another action here. Add action. No, I don't think we need to add another action. You can just, since it's page of this state, so we can add a var, add field. We want to update the list of to-dos by removing from list what value. This is our drag target dragged data, the data that we brought in, and that's simple. Now that in real time is going to give us that functionality of, hey, we are moving things around, but that's just how it simply works behind. So let's test now to see if it's actually working. You see, read a book. Once you read a book, you bring it here. You see, it automatically gets removed from this other list. Clean the house, you brought it here. Now we cannot bring it back here because we don't have that drag target widget placed under this section. So you can play with this anyhow you want. Now let's see how can we bypass, like say not having to, because if this item is, let me just go back and come back here. If this item, if this element is not brought into this space, it's not going to be released. But that's not how something like Trello, for example, that's not how it works. It just works like, hey, if you just bring it under here, then it's going to add to that thing. Now I found this trick that you can do to actually make it work. So let's do that for the list of to do, like the list of to do items. This is one way of you faking it to put that additional section that things can be brought into at the bottom. But what if you want your users to have that flexibility? So here on our list view on the to do's, right, what I'm going to do is this container, I'm going to cut this list view at all, because if we right click to wrap, like say we want to wrap widget, it doesn't give us that drag target widget that we can wrap using. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut like all of this list view so that I can do my item, right, and give this container that we're talking about, I want to give it a minimum height of about say 70, just so we have some space to work with. So I'm going to give it a minimum height of, well, let me say 100. No, let me say 120, something like that. Yeah, it's going to just be like that. I'm going to give it this minimum height, and then inside the container I'm going to add another drag target, right? I think that's very, very wise. I'm going to add a drag target. That is it. Now this is what is going to have all our conditions that perform the action. So inside this drag target that we've added, I'm now going to paste that list view that we copied as the child element. So we still have the same thing, but the whole idea is we can now like bring items into that drag target and you'll be listed out. So let me just give it a little bit of padding here on both directions, just so yeah, it looks like that. Okay, now on this drag target, what I want to do is when an item, let's say when an item is being brought from doing, right, when an item is being brought from doing into to do, what do we want to do? We want to add the item into the list of to do, like bring it back into the list of things that we have to do, and then remove the item from a list of doing. So that's the action that we're going to tie here. I'm just going to add action on this drag target, and I'll say state management, update page state. What page state do we want to update? We want to update the list of to-dos by adding that item into it. Add item to list. And what item do we want to add? We want to add the drag target, drag data. That's what we want to add inside there. And what do we also need to do? We need to remove it from the list of doings, and we say remove from list this, let me say drag target, drag data. Again, if you had selected like something that has custom data structure, you'll be able to nest and also do things I want to do with the list of values. So I'm just going to add like two other things in this list of doings. So one is make YouTube video, the other one is eat, even though I've not eaten. The next one is sleep, if I thought I'm going to get some. Yeah, and we confirm. So that is it. And if we refresh now, we should see be able to just drag that item and bring it there to add into the list, or to bring it back from doings to do. I should be able to also do the same thing, move items from to do to the list of doings. So let's try that. Clean the house. Let's move it down here to doing. It is there. Let's remove eat since I've not eaten back here. We should be able to drag that here. Okay, I see it's just been placed. This is what we want. Make YouTube video. I'm currently doing that. Sleep. I'm just going to bring it here. Let's see. Okay, but you get the idea. That's how we can make this to function, and I think this is very, very useful. You can just play around with this. Now one thing that you can do is you can also use like conditional evaluation to evaluate like where this data is coming from. Is it from the to-do column, or is it from the the doing? Is it from the to-do list, or is from the doing list, or is from the done list? And you can just make use of that and then have amazing functionalities in your application. I think this is very, very good. It's very, very useful in so many ways. And now one thing I want you to note here is if I tried wrapping this text in a container, like so that if you see here, I have this container, and then before the draggable container, before the draggable widget, if I try bringing this out, it will not be moving. Like, I don't know why. FlutterFlow should probably see into that. I don't know if it's because we are only allowed to specify the data type of the draggable property to be something, to be like one of the popular types that we have accepted here on FlutterFlow. But if I try wrapping this item, like this particular text, in a container, just like in case if you see when we are dragging here, we are dragging the just the text and not the whole container, right? If I try doing that, like wrapping this in a container, it doesn't work. But you can wrap it in a column, like if you need to do like some custom styling, you know, design a card that you want to drag that card and move. That doesn't seem to move. I think it'll probably be updated or like improved in the future, but that's just something worthy of noting. I think this can be very, very useful. Again, in this video, I've just been able to set like the foundation for you to be able to know how you can use this widget. And on drag enter, you can also do like when the widget enters, you want to do something, whatever, you can still type action. On drag exit, you can still do that. So just explore and see how you can use this widget to work best in your own situation. And if in case you have like any issue or you need any assistance, be sure to reach out to me. I'll be glad to assist you. And also, yeah, I'm open to do like mentorship or build apps for you if you have any reasonable idea. I think that's that for this video. And yeah, thank you for watching. And guys, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. It really helps me to make these videos. And I hope you found this video very useful. Be sure to leave down any questions. I'll keep saying, be sure to leave down any questions or ask anything that you have. I'll do my best to reply. Thank you very much. And yeah, make use of the buttons below. Bye bye, and see you next time.